Hi, everybody. It's Melinda Pollen, Brown County 4-H Development Educator, here with our next at-home family activity. This one is really exciting. It's called the Science of Sound. It's one of my favorite activities to do, and I'm really excited that I'm being joined today for this Zoom with a really good colleague and friend of mine, Dawn VandeVoort from Door County. She's the 4-H educator up in Door County, and she is also the one who helped develop the curriculum for this activity. So I'm really excited that Dawn is with us today to help us present this one as we get going. So Dawn,
Awesome.
do you want to say hi?
Hi, everybody. I'm excited to be here with you, and I hope you enjoy this activity at home, and it's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorites, too.
Awesome. So Dawn, let's get started. Do you want to talk to people about what we're going to learn today?
Yeah, absolutely. So how many of you have seen a sound wave? Like as I'm talking to Melinda, can you see sound waves? Probably not. So we don't really know what sound looks like, but we can kind of guess that sound travels through the air. We don't see it, but it's there, and it's traveling in waves. So as we make sounds, as I speak, as Melinda speaks, sound is coming out of our mouths, which is a vibration, and it's coming out in a wave. And that wave hits your ear. So it starts with a noise, whatever that sound is. It's traveling through the air. It travels through water as well. Might sound a little different in water, but it travels. And that sound wave then hits your eardrum and all of the parts inside your ear and makes a vibration in your ear, and that's how we hear sound. So different noises have different waves. They may be really big waves, they may be really small waves, lots of different ways that sound travels, and it sounds different right through the air. If you're on the other side of a wall, it may sound different, so it travels through air, through water, through solid objects, but it all makes a wave, and that's how it gets into our ear and how we hear things.
And that's how our brain picks up on it too. So once that wave hits that eardrum, then our brains try to make sense of that sound and pull in that wave into what we know and what we've heard before, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, what you're seeing there is that is a sound wave. It looks different. It might be really wide. It might be really narrow at points. It kind of reminds me of how water moves. Water moves in waves as well. And so you might have a really a steep wave, like a really sharp looking wave, or a real gentle. And that is how, whatever it looks like, if it's a big wave, little wave, causes a different vibration. So that's how we hear things.
And so today we are going to learn about sound waves. We're going to learn about the science behind sound by doing a hands-on activity. And as we've shared many times before, we use in 4-H what we call a do, reflect, apply method, or an engineering design process. So we gather information. Dawn just taught us a whole bunch about how sound is heard and how it goes through the air. We think about that. We develop some things, some thoughts around what that looks like, and we make something and see what that looks like. So we do something, we reflect on it, and then we apply it. We build something with our hands. We learn by doing. We're going to learn about the science of sound and how sound wave moves in a really fun activity today that is about doing, reflecting, applying while making a pan flute. And so pan flutes are really very simple. They require very few things, and it's just really a bunch of straws strung together and cut in different sizes that we can test how sound waves move through the straws itself and how our ears then get to hear that. So by making our own pan flutes, we're going to test all of that really cool science that Dawn just talked with us about. You will need very few supplies for this activity. You'll need a template, which will be included in the link of this video. You'll need a template. We'll show you what that looks like on the screen in just a minute as well. You'll need some plastic straws. Might want a glue stick or tape. If you've got double-sided tape, that might work as well. Some scrap paper just to help make a really small template. And then you'll need masking tape or duct tape. And you're going to put together what you see on the screen, a simple pan flute that will make noise as we teach you how to do that. So I'm going to turn it back over to Dawn to talk about how we make this pan flute.
Awesome. So we'll get started. In the lesson plan that you'll get, that you'll see, there is a template, and you can see that here on the screen. It really helps make the preparation a whole lot easier. So everything on the template shows you exactly how long the straws need to be. So you'll just lay the straws down on the template, and you can do it one of two ways. You can either cut directly down onto the template, like there on the left-hand side, or you can do like in the center, lay your straw down and make a mark at the end of the template there and then cut. So either way, but you'll take all of your straws, you'll line them up and cut them each to the length that it shows on the template. And pro tip, you'll have some extra pieces left of straws. Those you're going to need, those will be your spacers in between the different pieces of the pan flute. So you want to hang on to your pieces, those you'll need for spacers.
If I can just add one quick thing on that template, you will also, if you want to amp it up a little bit, maybe for some older people, you can give them the actual dimensions. On the template that Dawn has created for this activity, there are actual ruler markings. So you could say you need a straw that's 19 centimeters long or 17 centimeters long. And some of our older young people might really get into some math components. So those of us who are trying to figure out how to incorporate a little math into this one, we can also do it by teaching them how to read a ruler or a measuring device.
So then you're going to put a piece of scrap paper, and you're going to run it. You'll see on the template there'll be a little space there, a rectangle. You can lay your piece of paper down there, and you want to make it a little bit longer than what's on the template. But you can cut that out. You'll put a little bit of tape or even some glue, like a glue stick, run that on there. That will help you keep all of your pieces lined up as you're putting the pan flute together. So really good way to keep everything nicely organized and arranged. So then you'll start assembling, and you're going to put the pieces of straws on the template, matching them up with the different lengths as it shows there. And like you'll see on the photo on the left there, you put the little chunks in between. Those are your spacers. You'll put those in between there. And then you just line everything up from longest straw to shortest straw on that piece of paper. And you want to make sure your spacers are down just a little bit from the edge of your pan flute. So once you have all those pieces laid out nice and neat and lined up pretty well, then you're going to wrap some either masking tape or duct tape. If you have some fun duct tape, you can use that. Wrap that around, and you want to try to keep your straws as flat as possible. So setting your tape down and making sure that you keep everything nice and lined up will make it really well. It'll work really well for you.
I will say that this was probably the trickiest part is once you get that tape over the top, it's way easier, but some help for the littlers in getting that tape to hit those straws. It's as Dawn mentioned, it's kind of important that they stay semi-flat. So just giving an extra hand to kind of lay that tape on top that first time. They do a great job wrapping it afterwards, but that top piece can be a little tricky.
And then here's the part where you get to make science and magic happen. You can play with your pan flute at this point. So what we encourage people to do then is just blow across the top of the straws and make some music. You can kind of move back and forth, blow across different parts of the straws, and think about what's happening. So think about as you're blowing across the top of the long straws, what does that sound like? As you blow across the shorter straws, what does that sound like? Are they different? Are they similar? So thinking about, the different sounds that are coming out. As you're blowing across the top of each of the different straws, air in that straw is vibrating. And that's what's causing the vibration and the wave that hits your eardrum. So that vibration then travels and is what's making the music. So a really fun activity to make some music and have a little fun, and also learn about how sound travels.
And we hope this isn't the end. Now the fun part comes. And once we learn that process, then we get to play some songs. Can you play a happy birthday song or a Twinkle Twinkle Little Star or your favorite song on that pan flute? Because you'll hear the different sounds. It's kind of like playing a piano. There's different notes that you'll hear. So you can actually play some real music with your pan flute. The other thing that we're going to encourage you to try is if you have different widths of straws laying around around your house. We, in this example, used smoothie straws. They're really wide. But what happens if you don't, and I think Dawn is holding up a smaller straw. So what happens if you use like a regular sipping straw, or really small little straws? What does the sound difference sound like then? Because again, we're changing the vibration that is hitting the straws. In a smoothie straw, it's wider, and so the waves go back and forth a little bigger. Smaller straws, it has a much smaller wave. So it's a great opportunity for us to try and test different ways of making sound. Now, when you've done your pan flute, we hope that you take a couple of photos of them and post them on whatever social media platforms you might be on. If you wouldn't mind using a couple of hashtags when you post them, hashtag WI4H and hashtag Inspire Kids to Do. What that helps us to do is to create a community of sound science learners all in the same space. So we'll all get to see what each other is doing by doing those couple of hashtags. We hope that you have fun at home learning and building and making some noises. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Dawn, for joining me from Door County. And we hope that you all have a great day. Thank you all so
Thank
very
you.
much.